Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This time we're on episode 3 of the series, going great so far. Can't wait to see what else they've got in store. But last time we had Bucky and Sam's first official kind of reunion since their return from the blip. We spent the first episode with them kind of doing their own separate things and trying to, realign themselves with normal life again after the blip and after having come back with their own individual issues. Bucky going into therapy and Sam going back to his family and trying to help out there. So then the last episode the last episode carried on straight from the government actually reintroducing the world to Captain America and introducing them to the new Captain America too, who was John Walker, and we saw him too. We actually got like a fairly decent kind of introduction to his character. So he has background, he has experience. He's not just like a random white guy. I mean, he kind of is, but at the same time, he kind of isn't. Like he has a necessary military background, and they've run physical tests on him, and actually come to the conclusion that he is kind of like in their eyes at least he's worthy, but he is also just like pretty much like the next white guy they picked up to carry the shield and carry that name and everything with a budget new suit, according to the government's budget, whatever it is. But we met him, we met John Walker, and he was, he had issues. I think is fairly well enough to say. Like I think to begin with, he tried to be somewhat passive aggressively kind of cooperative. Like he tried in his own way. He tried to actually get into Sam and Bucky's kind of good books and everything. But by the end of the episode, after they confirmed that it just wouldn't work between them and that they couldn't work with him being free agents and more flexible, and him being like a through and through government agent, he kind of revealed that he kind of revealed his own true colors, being like, okay, if you can't work with me, then stay the hell out of my way and don't try and stop me from arresting anyone or doing what I need to do. So he kind of showed his true colors there. But overall, he does not seem like the most likable guy. He definitely doesn't. I think to begin with, I think they definitely try to humanize him with him kind of throwing off his stresses and anxieties about actually being the new Cap and having to be who the world expects him to be and all that jazz. But then by the end of it, it's like okay, so he clearly is just like another kind of white guy with this kind of power. And he even, he used that power to actually get Bucky out of prison and everything after he got arrested for missing his therapy thing and stuff like that. But still, he just seems to have that kind of characteristic around about him that's not exactly the easiest thing to be around. So there's that, and he has his own Sam Wilson with him, Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar, and they seem to get along well. So there's that, but John Walker does not seem like he doesn't seem like the most likable guy. I think when he tries to be decent, but otherwise, otherwise you can tell he's just that kind of guy who's either blissfully unaware of his own privilege, or he kind of embraces this whole Captain America thing wholeheartedly and kind of uses it wherever he can and stuff like that. So there was John Walker, and then there was Bucky and Sam, but Bucky was less than happy. He was less than pleased to see that there was another guy out there just parading around in like a makeshift kind of Captain America suit, but with the shield that Steve explicitly gave to Sam. And he was also less than pleased to find out that Sam had actually given the shield away. I mean, Sam didn't give the shield to the government. He gave it to the museum, to be stored with other Captain America artifacts and to be used there to pay honor and tribute to him. But then he had no idea that he even told Bucky he had no idea that the government would actually go behind his back and do something like this. So they were both kind of less than pleased to actually find out that this was the current state of affairs under the hands of the government. So there was that, and they then teamed up afterwards. They then teamed up as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to try and track down and take down the Flag Smashers and stuff. So it was like a cool first adventure. It was a cool first adventure to kind of see from them. And we also met the Flag Smashers too. So Carly Morgenthau, the girl that we saw who knocked Bucky's ass out of the back of the lorry, she's the leader. She's the leader, and she's also known as Robin Hood because of what they're doing. I think even in terms of people actually watching the series, there's been like a common kind of theory going around like maybe these guys aren't really like the bad guys, because what they're doing is actually them trying to help people. Like their methods could definitely be questionable, but the end result is pretty much they're trying to help people, and they are actively trying to give back to people who lost something during the blip, and their kind of motto is that they want to unite people too. They're the Flag Smashers. They're trying to take down borders, but not for the sake of chaos or calamity, but for the sake of actually bring people together, because it's likely what would have happened under the blip. Like, half the world is gone, like everyone else is scattered and lost and stuff like that. So the world actually comes together during that time, and the Flag Smashers were definitely the ones who remained. So they saw the kind of prosperity and peace that would have come from that in the midst of all the chaos too. So there's been a lot of talk about that, like, oh, are the Flag Smashers really the bad guys? Like, in a way that actually arguably makes more sense than the whole kind of meme where it's like, oh, did Thanos really do anything wrong? But like these guys are actually actively trying to help people, and I think that could be the secret behind them stealing vaccines and medicines, like, and especially the people who came back, like things are. Like the system is readapting and retightening and actually, trying to, provide for everyone that came back, and then the people who still stayed kind of get their stuff mixed up and messed up too. So they're actively trying to help people. So I'm actually going forward now. I'm even more curious as to how the series is going to handle them, and actually see, are they really the bad guys? Are the Flag Smashers really the ones you need to worry about, or what is it? But I mean, they are super soldiers, so they definitely have the means to create chaos if they wanted, and to actually fight back and everything. Which I think that is like the main reason. Like, if people do stand in their way, if people do kind of oppose their mission and oppose their ideals, then they need the adequate resources and the adequate strength to be able to fight back. So Carly and all of her people are pretty much super soldiers and everything, but Carly is the leader. She's the one who believes the strongest in this kind of message and in this kind of in these ideals, and she's the one kind of leading those people into this new light and everything. But she's receiving death threats too. She actually received a death threat saying that you stole something from me, so now I'm gonna hunt you down and kill you. So whether that was the serum or the medicines she stole, because those food lorries were presumably filled with medicines and vaccines, and even ones that needed to be kept under cool temperatures, like the ones that would keep frozen and everything. So, yeah, I mean, I think it could more likely be the serum, maybe, because I feel like like medicine, as expensive as it can be, it can still be somewhat easier to acquire than than actual super soldier serum. Like that stuff is explicitly kind of more precious and more valuable. So I think if she steals that, then I feel like there'll be somewhat more reason to actually, for anyone at all to actually send her death threats for whatever reason. But I guess we'll find out. But there is also a power broker involved, and he sent, they sent their men after Carly and her people. So like whoever the power broker is, maybe could definitely be the same one who sent the hunting down and killing text, because I think the guys did come out of the cars with guns and shoot the one Flag Smasher that decided to stay behind and everything. So it's a wild ride. It's a crazy ride. So I'm all the more curious to see how the Flag Smashers are handled and how they're explored, and see who they really are from the outside in and everything. So that should be fun. And we met Isaiah Bradley. I found out through Twitter his full name is Isaiah Bradley. And he is one of the first super soldiers. He's one of the first super soldiers that was created. I think after Steve. I think he fought the Winter Soldier too. He fought Bucky as the Winter Soldier back in the 50s in the Korean War. To the point where he actually tore Bucky's older metal arm off, and then left him to be picked up by Hydra again. So I think he's in that case, he's one of the few super soldiers that he because of that, he was one of the few super soldiers besides from Steve that that Hydra actually feared, as Bucky pointed out. But he was also, I think because he was also a black super soldier, like he wasn't exactly honored for his service to his country in the same way that Steve was, but instead he was actually locked up by Hydra as well and experimented on. Like he actively told Sam and Bucky that they actually imprisoned him for like 30 years, and they stole his and they took his blood and other things and experimented on him and stuff. So his story is not the easiest, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. So I am very, very eager to see what else there is to his story, and any kind of advice he has for Sam, and how they incorporate him into the series further, and finding out who he is. So that should be a fun journey, or depending on the story, it should be like an interesting journey at the very least, but probably not fun. And we had them, and we had kind of other little tidbits like the racial profiling, which was not so fun to see from Sam, like Sam being profiled by the cops, and like right up until they found out he was the Falcon and everything. And I think the deeper this series goes, the deeper they might actually explore the kind of meaning and depth of the country having its first black Captain America, and like Sam understanding the depth and kind of sincerity of that role as well, and actually taking it on by the end of the season as well. So it should be fun to see how it all goes down. But it ended with after they declined John Walker's help, it ended with Sam and Bucky concluding that they needed to go and find someone who actually knew Hydra's in-depth history and knew about what they did to Isaiah Bradley, and that person is none other than Baron Zemo. I think his name is actually Helmut Zemo. But he is in CIA custody still. He hasn't broken out yet. He hasn't become Baron Zemo yet. He's still in CIA custody playing chess with whoever. But they're going to be visiting Zemo now, so that should be an interesting character return to see. But I'm still waiting for Sharon. I'm still waiting for them to give us Sharon back and see when she jumps in. I'm hoping. I mean, if it's an ending, if they end the episode with giving us Sharon Carter reuniting with Sam and Bucky, then I think that would be a very, very worthy cliffhanger to end on. But I also don't want to have to wait till next week to actually see some Sharon content too. So I'm very, very kind of mixed on that end. But either way, as long as we get some Sharon, I'm good. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have from the last episode. So on to episode 3 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Onto the reaction. So yeah, so in terms of reaction, this one will only be the highlights as per usual. So if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that one out over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So on to episode 3, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let's go. Oh damn, Bucky and Zemo in the same room again. Last time this happened, he broke out in the Winter Soldier. Safe to say that won't be happening this time. Is he gonna try the keywords again and Bucky's just gonna tell him to shut the fuck up? I really badly want that to happen. Yeah. He's just like, shut the fuck up, Zemo. That's not gonna work this time. Yeah, he's trying it again. He's trying it again.
Those days are over.
Yeah, damn right they are.
He is crazy, but he still has a code.
Oh, that's great.
On the wrong
Yeah.
side of that code, Bucky.
Guy with
So
terrible
have you.
morality has a
He
code.
blew up the UN. He killed King T'Chaka and framed you for it. Did you forget that? You think the Wakandans forgot about it? It's a rhetorical question. They
Yeah.
didn't. So why would two prisoners randomly start fighting at that moment?
Who knows? There could be many reasons.
Oh god, he will kill you tonight. Kill him first. Oh, sparking flames. Oh jeez, sparking flames.
These things escalate. Look down a hallway or two.
Yeah. Oh god, Bucky, you actually broke him out. You actually broke him out.
You're going back to prison.
If I may.
No!
No, you may not. You may not. No.
When Steve refused to sign the Sokovia Accords, you backed him.
I really think I'm invaluable.
Shut up.
No, his mask. His mask. Where does he get that mask though? Where did he get that mask from? Because that's his comic iconic mask, but still. Sneaky little bastard.
Nakajima.
You touch that again, I'll kill you.
How did he get his hands on Bucky's list? Was it just randomly inside the book? His name, Zemo's listed. Zemo's name is in that list. Zemo's name is on that list. Yeah.
I've seen that book.
He's an amendment.
It was Steve's when he came out of the ice. I told him about Trouble Man. He
Ah.
wrote that book.
Captures the African American experience.
Oh my
He's
god.
out of line, but he's right. It's great. Everybody loves Marvin Gaye.
I like
That's
Marvin
true.
Gaye.
Steve adored Marvin Gaye.
Oh, and it's the same thing. The hand, the necklace, the flag smashes. That's where she got it from. Oh.
If we have to do something about this, I'm the only one who looks like a pimp.
Assume a fashion-forward black man.
Oh, that's a great color scheme,
Looks
Sam.
exactly like the man you're supposed to be playing in The Smiling Tiger.
The
Even has a
smiling
bad
tiger.
nickname.
Jesus, smiling tiger.
Oh, he does look
Oh,
like me, though.
that is Anthony Mackie in the
Smell
picture,
this?
though. That is Anthony
Yeah,
Mackie.
what is that, acid?
Oh, who's that? Was that Selby, the hooded figure? Or was that Sharon? Sharon was wearing a hood in the trailer. Are we gonna get Sharon this early? Whoa! That's a snake! Don't tell me that's snake venom. Don't tell me that's snake venom. Oh, damn. Yep, the Winter Soldier's here, people. The Winter Soldier's here. Jesus. Oh, Baron's and Zemo's enjoying this. Oh, jeez. Oh, the Winter Soldier music. I'm really just bringing that theme back. Yep. Oh, jeez.
Didn't take much for him to fall back into form.
Kill them.
Whoa. Okay, Selby's gone. Selby's dead just like that. Who took her out?
Pin this on us.
Selby dead. 1K bounty for her killers. Oh, that has to be Sharon. That has to be Sharon. Yeah.
Seem to have a guardian angel.
That has to be Sharon.
Well, this is
Sharon.
perfect.
Sharon.
Drop it, Zemo.
Sharon?
You cost me everything.
Sharon, wait.
I have a place in Hightown. You should be safe there for a while.
Okay. Oh, we get Sharon back. Sharon Carter's back. Oh, god damn it. Yeah. She is the guardian angel. Okay. She looks damn good.
like
Damn
breaking
good
all
in
those laws
long
is
leather.
you.
Long leather and a
At some point,
hoodie.
I thought if I had to hustle, I might as
What's Google say?
That's real.
No shit.
Come on, you guys need to change. I'm hosting clients in an hour.
Damn. So she literally runs and
Much
lives in
better.
an... Yeah.
Before you were his pet psychopath, you were Mr. America, Cap's best friend.
Oh. She's kind of awful now.
Calling Morgenthau and at least 7
I love
others have
this. I'm
taken
loving
Serum.
this. This is the
You
team.
guys really
This
should
is
steer
the
clear of
team.
all of this.
Yeah.
They cleared the bionic staring machine, and he killed almost everybody he's met.
I heard that.
I don't trust Charity.
All right, a deal then. You help us out, and I get your name cleared.
Try to stay out of trouble. I'll see what I can find.
Oh god, Zemo dancing.
Guys, I found him.
God damn, it must be the bounty. Must be to do with the bounty, yeah. Come on, Sharon, use your baton. You can do this. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, knee to the face. That's it. Oh. That is what I've been waiting for. You got this. You got this. You got it. 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 Ooh, knife to the back. Oh, through the arm.
When Hydra fell, I was recruited by the CIA. They had blood samples from an American test subject.
Isaiah.
Stable traces of serum.
Isaiah.
In the system.
Yeah, he worked with Isaiah's
After
blood.
much, I was a god.
Nah, gods don't dress like that.
No clunky machines or jacked up bodies. Mine was going to be subtle. Before I was able to complete my work, I turned to dust.
He was blipped.
Then when I returned, the program had been abandoned. So I came here.
Huh.
Carly Morgenthau stole those.
Oh, he texted her.
Can only imagine what the power broker has.
Oh,
planned for that
power
little
broker.
girl.
Where's
Power
Carly
broker
now?
definitely texted her,
I
yeah.
don't know where she is.
There we go. There we go. Oh, she's good. She is so very damn good. So very good. So very good. Oh.
Is there any serum in this lab?
Oh.
What did you do?
He hates super soldiers. Oh, damn. Okay. He hates super soldiers, so he kills the one scientist since Erskine has been able to create them. Oh, are there explosive chemicals in here? Are there flammable chemicals? Yeah, very explosive, very explosive. Very, very explosive.
You like living here?
Yeah, sure, it's adventurous. It's adventurous. Yeah. Okay, so he is helping. He is helping. Oh, he's a combatant. Is he a good combatant? He's a good fighter. Oh. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Right through the shoulder.
Come back to the States with us.
I told you I can't. Just get me that part and you promised me.
Oh. Okay.
Thanks
Until
for
the next
everything.
time, Sharon. Yeah, we gotta see her again. We gotta see her again. One
You're not
episode
gonna
is
move
not
your
enough.
seat up, are you?
No.
Oh god, that's an amazing callback. Yeah, no moving the seat up.
Maybe I shouldn't have put it in a museum. Maybe I should have destroyed it.
Wow.
World's upside down. We need a new cap, and it ain't gonna be Walker. So before you go and destroy it, I'm gonna take it from him myself.
Damn, that would be a cool scene. Bucky reclaiming that thing from Walker.
For one, I'm looking forward to coming face to face with Carly. Nick, we're changing the course.
I don't have very many good feelings about Zemo going forward. No. It's an interesting team up, but I think his endgame, we know it's to kill all super soldiers. Yeah. He doesn't believe superheroes should be allowed to exist. He's not gonna let her or the other Smashers go without down with that fight.
Now.
Oh! Okay. Oh, and those people in there are dead.
There's still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
Oh, that's why she didn't take her car. She knew it was rigged. By her. Oh. So now she's killing people. Great. Oh, it's Wakandan! The Wakandan little bull things! I mean, I know Wakandans are like outposts. Oh, it's a breadcrumb trail. Yeah, so is there a Wakandan here? Is there someone we know? Is it gonna be like Nakia maybe? Isn't she meant to be social? Is it gonna be someone we know?
I was wondering when you were gonna show up.
Oh no, Io! It's Io! Yeah! Okay. So we get some Wakandan incorporation into the show. Okay, we get Io in this then. Okay, that was another fantastic episode. of the show. So yeah, we had Zemo. So we had both Zemo and Sharon brilliantly and fantastically incorporated back into the story, into the series again. So yeah, I think I want to start with I want to save the best till second. You know, Sharon. You know, I'm gonna be geeking out that one, but you know, Zemo. I think his introduction was a lot more eloquent. His introduction was a lot more kind of planned out and kind of a lot more kind of like expressive and whatnot. So I think like them visiting Zemo. I figured as soon as Bucky said he was going to try and talk to Zemo, I figured they're going to have some kind of scene where like Zemo, he may well be aware that like Bucky's brainwashing and stuff has been removed and he's been fixed and stuff like that. But then at the same time, he's still just going to be that little cocky little asshole who's just going to try those words, see, and he did. He said, I'm well aware your brainwashing is going away, but I'm still just kind of curious as to how this new and improved you is going to react to the old techniques and everything. So he still tried it. But I think I was really hoping, Buck would just be like, dude, just shut the hell up. He'd put like a Samuels and be like, man, shut the hell up. Just shut up. It's not going to work anymore. But no, nothing as aggressive as that. Just like a simple kind of, just reminding of the truth. So that was cool, and they broke Zemo out. They caused a kerfuffle in the prison and had the guards all distracted, and had Zemo using his own skills of kind of discreetness and combat and everything, and they helped break him out. So yeah, so it's an interesting way to bring him back because we know he's meant to be an antagonist of this series too. So I'm kind of deep down, I'm still kind of like waiting for that to happen, like waiting for the double crossing because I'm anticipating I'm anticipating him to be like the Lex Luthor, but better of this series. Like he's going to be the one who kind of works with them for now, but then he has his own endgame. He has his own kind of goal in mind for the series, and like being Baron Zemo, he's definitely gonna kind of double cross them, and he's gonna use them as a means to an end basically, because they need his help getting to Carly and the Flag Smashers and finding out the kind of truth behind the super soldier serum, but then he knows that by helping them they can help him get to the Flag Smashers, and then he can do his own thing and then go his own way too. So he has no intention of going back to prison. I mean, in his mind, he didn't even commit any crime. I mean, I think he's aware he did commit actual legal crimes. So I think in his mind, he was also doing it for his own personal vendetta. He didn't really care how many people he killed along the way, as long as he actually killed the people that he needed to pay for what he suffered for. Or from rather. So there's that. But I think he's definitely I think maybe like in the penultimate episode or like soon enough he's gonna have that whole thing where he's just gonna double crosses them and then goes his own way and then he becomes like an enemy that they need to battle too. So I think it's gonna be interesting. I think again it's gonna be like a Lex Luthor style switch over, but it's gonna be like 10 times more interesting to watch and everything. So yeah. But they broke him out, and he is royalty. He is. I think he even said that like back before when his life was all hunky dory in Sokovia, his family was royalty, so he had like a lot of riches, and like he lived like near enough a life of luxury. He had riches, and even now, even after the blip, after he's lost everything else, and he's the only one. He's presumably the only one left in his lineage. He still has, well, he has like a jet plane and everything. And he has like a long coat, and he has his thing back, and he has his attire. He's actually got his mask. I'm curious as to where he got the mask from. I can't help but be curious as to where he got his mask from, because I don't know if it's something he actually made for himself, or if it's something that he just kind of found, or if he actually, if he's been planning this whole kind of Baron Zemo look this entire time. He even said he is a Baron, so that is his official kind of royal title too. It's not just like kind of evil villain kind of code name he's given himself. He is literally Baron Zemo. And I think in Civil War, I think Friday they told Tony that his name was actually Helmut Zemo too. So yeah, so it was cool to see that, and I think he is a great combatant too. He is a great combatant. He handled himself well at the shipping yard, and he handled himself well in prison too. So I think that kind of reminds me, like it reminded me of how Friday did say that like back when he was in the military in Sokovia, he was in that line of work. He was part of like a covert Sokovian kill squad too. So he knows how to kill. He knows how to fight. He knows how to actually get his way through bullets and knives and all sorts of other kind of firefights and everything. So he knows how to handle himself. He very much knows how to handle himself. So it's cool to see them incorporating that into this. But yeah, and I think like the overall kind of involvement, like the overall kind of cooperation he has with Bucky and Sam in this is very interesting to see. But I think it's also kind of clear to see again, it's just a means to an end. He doesn't really. I think he still holds that hatred. He still. I think he definitely holds a certain kind of like a twisted liking for Bucky because of how he was able to use him. I think the one thing he likes about Bucky is the fact that he was a super soldier he was able to control and stuff, and he actively used something that like Bucky, something he actively hates, but he was also like in Civil War he was able to actually use him to set him against the other Avengers and do that kind of stuff. So because that he holds like a certain liking to him, and he was able to control him even for that limited time, and he was the last person to be able to do so too. So he holds a special liking to him. But then deep down, he also still kind of despises that side of Bucky, and like superheroes, he still kind of hates them because of what he did, because like he has seen, I think in that kind of way he also kind of holds the same ideal, like the same views as the government did during the Accords period of time too. So like he saw exactly why the Accords were necessary, because both him and his family suffered from the after effects of what the Avengers fought. Even his monologue in Civil War was literally the Avengers, they went home, but the rest of us were left to pick up the scraps and the kind of wreckage that they left behind, and he lost his family, and he found them under the rubble, and he knows exactly what the Accords were meant for, and stuff like that. But for him, it's a lot more personal. It's less political, and a lot more people like superheroes, that they fight these wars, they fight these battles, and then they go home and celebrate a victory after winning, but then the rest of us have to pick up and mourn from what they've left behind and stuff like that. So he holds that. He very much holds that kind of personal vendetta style mentality. So seeing him working with Bucky and Sam, it's interesting. It's interesting, but again, deep down, by the end of it all, he's gonna turn on them in some way, and he's gonna try and enact his own plans. But at the same time, it's like they've done it in a way where that's not the focus right now. Like right now, they're letting you enjoy the kind of tension between them. They're letting you enjoy exactly what he has to offer, and he has to offer skills and intel and resources and connections to Selby. Before she died, obviously. And I think we still don't know who killed her. I think we still don't know who killed her, but it was enough to put like a 1K bounty on all of their heads, pretty much. So I don't know if that's like 1K collectively or 1K each, so like 3K or something. So I don't know how that works. But either way, there's a bounty. I think just because they handled the bounty under the shipping yard, I don't think the bounty's over. I think the power broker could definitely send more bounty hunters after them, even outside of Madripoor maybe. But I don't know. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of story comes to conclusion. But Zemo seems to Zemo definitely seems to be that kind of love hate kind of villain. Like you love him because he's a villain, and he does what he's supposed to do. Like Daniel Gould plays him perfectly. He plays him perfectly, and he gives off that kind of vibe. But at the same time, you hate him because he is the bad guy. He is there to hurt people, and he's there to kind of use Bucky and Sam to his own ends, and then go his own separate way. and stuff. And I genuinely thought he would definitely try and escape at various points. I thought he would escape from when Nagel's shipping container exploded, and then even at the actual shipping yard, I thought he'd escape and go his own life. But no, I think again he's sticking with the fact that by helping Sam and Bucky find Carly and the Flag Smashers, he will be able to use them to get to the Flag Smashers, and then he'll be able to enact his own justice against superheroes and everything. So yeah, it's definitely just a means to an end thing. But again, you can still enjoy it. You can still enjoy it. Like that is the beauty of the writing in this episode. You know what he may well end up doing in the end, but at the same time, it's like the journey is just as enjoyable seeing you actually working with them, even if it's temporary. And yeah, I mean, to begin with, Sam was less than enthusiastic about this, but I think Bucky, knowing exactly how resourceful and powerful that Zemo is and how powerful he can be, he's at least he's definitely like an ally worth having, like a frenemy worth having, even temporarily. So yeah, it's very, very good. It's very good. And it definitely reminds me of the dynamic of in season 2, I believe it was in season 2, the dynamic of Coulson, season 2 of Agents of Shield, that kind of dynamic of Coulson actually temporarily recruiting Ward to help him get into Hydra and take them out and stuff like that kind of dynamic. I mean, with that, there's like a lot deeper history. So it's like a much closer betrayal. With Zemo, there was never any kind of trust between them besides from him being like a psychiatrist that was there to help Bucky. But that one was more like a twisted kind of betrayal. But I mean, Ward's one was more like a twisted betrayal. But then because of his connections to Hydra and everything, they were willing to actually at least put him on the line and use his intel for the greater good and everything. So it kind of reminds me of that kind of recruitment and that kind of dynamic too. So it's fun to see it kind of being somewhat similarly played out in this with Zemo. So that's fun. And yeah, I think there were very many interesting tidbits, like little kind of material references and lines. So Bucky's book, his amendment. I mean, people were saying it's a nice kind of parallel. Bucky comes back from being blipped, and his kind of way here, his own little list is a list of amendments, and then Steve's is coming back from the ice, as if he was blipped. Was him actually taking down pop culture references, and Sam getting in trouble to listen to. So they brought that back in this, but it's actually Steve's book. It's literally Steve's book. So like another one of the pages, or a few of the pages in that book would also include all the different pop culture things. So I vaguely remember. I think Sam did tell him about Trouble Man. Sam did tell him about the Marvin Gaye the Trouble Man soundtrack, which they played at the end of Winter Soldier. So that was a really nice touch too. But I think he had Star Wars in there. He had Apple, Steve Jobs' Apple. He had a bunch of pretty much 90% pop culture references and pop culture things that he had to catch up on. But with Bucky's, I think his condition being there, his thing was actually his list of elements. But I think having it be Steve's book as well, is also really a really nice stuff. So it's his own little kind of personal torch being passed on. So he gets Steve's shield is given to Sam, and Steve's book is given to Bucky, so that he can actually work on himself and actually work to kind of correct his past and everything. So that was a really nice touch. But yeah, even that kind of that Trouble Man soundtrack conversation, Bucky, Sam being you never listen to Sam Trouble Man, you don't like the Trouble Man soundtrack, and then Bucky being yeah, I mean, I did like it, like me being me, I prefer 40s music and everything. So I'm curious as to what I think. I'm curious as to if you gave an iPhone or an iPod to Bucky, what would be on his playlist, because I think I'm not too aware of very many songs from the 40s. I mean, even if I am, I probably wouldn't even know if they were from the 40s. But I'm curious as to what his actual Apple playlist might be, or what his iTunes playlist might be, or something. But whether or not they'll ever show us that, I'm not sure. But it'll be an interesting thing to see. And even Zemo's kind of analysis, it's great. It's a great soundtrack. It's a great kind of portrayal and telling of the African American lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. And then Sam's he's way out of line, but he is also very right. He's also right about that. And yeah, Zemo's kind of interactions. Zemo's chemistry with these two was just on point to see, and it was really, really fun to see. Them going to Madripoor, the club. I mean, yeah, them going to Madripoor, then being in Sharon's art gallery, her underground illegal art gallery place. And then Zemo, them going to the dance, and then Zemo dancing. That's an image I'm never gonna get out of my head. He's such a dad dancer. I feel like he is. He used to be a dad. He did have a kid. who died in Sokovia. But I think like he like even the way he dances, like it's not just cringy, but it's like what immediately came to my mind is he's dad dancing basically, but it's also just like him. Like it's not even like an actual movie, just him literally like like jumping up and down on the spot, like pumping his shoulders and everything. You just like it's like you can't help but rewatch it, but it's also like something that you just like you don't know what he's doing. He looks like he's actually actively. It's like to me, it's like that meme, that Steve Buscemi meme, like oh hi, hello, how do you do, fellow kid? Like it's like that meme brought to life, but with dancing. It's like an older guy trying to dance with with relatively young people, and him just he doesn't even look that old. He doesn't really look older than 30, I'd say, but still, it's like that kind of meme as well, like that. The how do you do, fellow kids, like him trying to fit in with the youngsters and stuff like that. So it's just like Zemo dancing. That's just never mind. But it was cool to see it was cool to see him actually trying to get along with people all around him, despite what he had done in the past. Him being him, I think he's also kind of cherishing. He's also cherishing and utilizing his usefulness to Sam and Bucky in that same way too. He knows he can't really piss them off too much, or they might not really treat him with as much freedom or treat him with as much respect as they have now. So he's aware of that. So I think like despite the fact that he may well double cross them in the end, he is still trying to make the most of his time with them now. So like maybe they won't take it as personally, maybe they won't take it as hard when he does double cross them. Maybe he can still kind of create some kind of like memories with them, like something more positive than what they had last time and stuff. So that's fun to see. But yeah, Zemo, that was Zemo, and he worked to resummon the Winter Soldier somewhat in Madripoor in that bar, in the Princess Bar, and he warned Sam and Bucky against being too good or too kind of civil. Like he explicitly needed the Winter Soldier back, because I think that was the one person that people in the bar would fear, and he actually had he actually had Bucky bringing his combat skills back as the Winter Soldier, and even his line to Sam, like, oh, it didn't really take him too long to fall back into his old his old physical ways. So he's very aware of like the usefulness of the Winter Soldier in that kind of situation. So it was fun seeing him kind of working Bucky in that sense, like working with him without having to use a gun. It was like he kind of made it clear to them that where they were going, it was not really like a friendly place. They needed kind of muscle. They needed someone to intimidate the people there. So he knew that like the Winter Soldier was explicitly that kind of person. And he had Sam dressed up as a smiling tiger. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that the person in that photo was Anthony Mackie, just with thicker, more bold facial hair. So it was pretty much a matter of whether that's a picture of Anthony Mackie in real life that they then modeled it off of. I'm completely unaware, but either way, it did look pretty much like him, and I'm like 90% sure it was him. So they just had him wearing the same, similar enough color scheme and stuff like that. So that was fun. And then she returned. Marvel gave her back to us. Marvel returned her to us. Sharon Carter, Agent 13, formerly Agent 13, Sharon Carter. I don't know if she has a middle name, I definitely don't know, but Sharon Carter is back. She's back, she has returned to us, she is back, and she came back swinging. And I like that it wasn't just like a sudden reveal. I like that it wasn't just that, like, it was actually sprinkled in visually along the way. Like we saw like a hooded figure at the bar first, she hood back up. I think as soon as Bucky and Sam and got back there and she recognized him, she then, like, before they could recognize her, she actually put her hood up and walked away. And I think I was wondering, like could that be, like Selby or the Paradox or someone? But no, and then I remembered, like, oh, they're wearing like a long kind of leather jacket coat and a hood thing, which, by the way, just great look on her. But as soon as I saw that she was wearing a hood and like that jacket, I remembered that kind of attire from the trailer too. I was like, oh, that has to be Sharon. Even then, even when they're running away after Selby's thing, and like when they're being shot at by the bounty hunters and everything, like she shoots down the people in front of them and comes out afterwards. So, like, she's pretty much like their guardian angel, like Zemo described and everything. So she comes out. So I think I like that kind of sprinkled in kind of tease of, oh, there is like another hooded figure there who's actually watching over them, and she's kind of connected to them and everything. And then she finally comes out, and it's great. But she was awesome. Sharon was perfect. I think she was she was at least part of what made this episode as special as it was, and her return was so well kind of explored and so well kind of done. I think I don't know if they actually mentioned if she was dusted. I don't know if they actually mentioned that, like, if she was gone, because I mean you couldn't possibly trust the Russos to bring her back in Endgame after what they did to her in Civil War, and after like what she went through something. I think the chances of her actually reunite, because if she was still alive, then I feel like they actually could have actually bothered to reintegrate her into Endgame, or at least kind of name drop her, at least in Endgame if she was actually still alive. But I think her being blipped could have made more sense. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't know if they actually mentioned it again. But regardless, she still suffered enough consequences from what she did during Civil War, like her stealing the shield and even Falcon's impact and everything. So she still suffered the legal consequences at the hands of the US government and the UN and everything. So that was not so fun for her. But she's been on the run ever since. She's been on the run, and she still is. She still is. Like Sam and Bucky were pardoned from their own things, and they still got some sense of freedom. But Sharon hasn't been given that same privilege, and she's been on the run ever since, and she then fled to Madripoor, which I think Madripoor, given how it's been described, it feels like like it's like an underground, very very kind of criminal underground type of world, but it's also it also feels like some kind of like a refuge for people who've been wronged or people who have nowhere else to go. Like people who are on the run can find something to do in Madripoor and be kind of off the grid and everything. And like that's what she said. She actually went to Madripoor to be off the grid and stuff because they don't have the same kind of punishments or rules as the US does. So he kind of offered her that leverage, and she even lives in like an underground like illegal art gallery place where all the real paintings are in Madripoor in that place, and like even the painting, like half the paintings in the Louvre aren't even real, and even Sam having to look up on the paintings and be like, damn, it's the real thing right here in Madripoor. So she wants that kind of place and lives out of it, so that's cool. But she hasn't even spoken to her family. She has not spoken to her father in such a long time, and like I think none of her family actually know where she is or what she's doing. So she has to kind of cut off all those personal connections and just be by herself, be independent, which she's more than capable of doing. We've seen she's more than capable of doing. She's made it this far and this long, so it's cool in that sense. But she does also have a connection. She also does have like another connection. She actually got into a car with another woman at the end of her scene and went her own way. So she does have some other kind of connection that we've yet to kind of find out exactly what it is or what it means. So there's that. But I kind of love that dynamic of Sam, Bucky, and Zemo in the shipping container talking to Nagel, and then Sharon not only keeping watch outside, but doing exactly what she was supposed to anyway, and she just her handling all the bounty hunters like that. I need to watch that fight scene on the loop. She just handled them all with ease with her baton. She threw knives through arms and backs and everything, and she just kicked and punched, and she was a goddess. She was a goddess among men. She was just incredible to watch. She handled herself and actually kept them off of their backs like she said she would. So she's a woman of her word. She's a woman of her word. So that was awesome to see. Just Sharon cut like this was like they didn't just bring her back in this. They actually allowed her to shine. They did what the movies never would have let her do. They actually allowed her to shine in this episode alone. So I can only imagine what the future episodes with her in this show are like with her in it. I can only imagine what kind of badass she gets up to and how else she helps Sam and Bucky and everything. So she's amazing. She's amazing, and this show is showing it to people. She's amazing, and Disney Plus is giving her the chance to actually show it to people. So I'm finally hoping that people respect her the way she deserves. But yeah, I can't wait for more Sharon Carter content. I really can't wait for more of it, and I can't wait to see like what other connections she has, like how resourceful they allow her to be, and how resourceful that she shows she can be, and exactly how else they help her. But that is the trio. Sam, Bucky, and Sharon is the trio, and Zemo is kind of like the tag along that goes along that you enjoy watching nonetheless. And he was surprisingly enjoyable in this. I mean, yeah, I think in this one he didn't even have any violence, like any kind of villains. Like I think that's what I actually enjoyed most about this. Like despite him like us knowing him as the villain, as the antagonist, like his introduction doesn't even have too many like villainous or violent tendencies. Sure, he fights, but I think he doesn't even have too many kind of like villainous tendencies or tendencies that like any kind of signs that he might actually turn away from them just yet, but you still kind of know because you know who he is, to expect it in the future, and to kind of anticipate it like at least a few episodes from now. So I mean, I think we haven't even got that long to do this thing because I think this show doesn't have as many episodes as WandaVision does either. So I think like this one is like an even shorter story, so I'm kind of all the more kind of anxious to see how quickly it all goes down. And I mean even then it means that like again they like Marvel did not do is not doing this series or WandaVision like the way that any other TV show would do. Like they're not doing any filler. They're not wasting time. There's a story they want to tell. They're going to get through it. They're going to introduce characters as quickly as they need to. They're going to tell the story as quickly as they need to. So it's like like Marvel doesn't believe in fillers. They don't believe in fillers. So at least not with at least not with the Disney Plus series. So they don't believe in fillers, and they want to tell their story as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So it's very much a case of being as saving as much time and as much money as possible. So not really wasting time with any extra kind of story or anything like that. So it's cool. It's cool to see. But yeah, Sharon Carter. And I do like that kind of deal that she made with Sam. Like she didn't really trust it. Like even with the power kind of Sam and even with the connection and power that Sam and Bucky still kind of shared, she didn't really believe that things would be as easy for her as it was for them. Like she even referenced that you guys have your pardons and your freedom, but I don't really have that same kind of luxury. But she was still kind of she did still believe in them enough that she cut them a deal by being like I'm not going to return to you with the States because that's too risky. I'm not willing to risk anything like that. Given what little she already has, but she is still willing to help them however she can in exchange for her actually, in exchange for Sam actually being able to clear her name. So I like that. And I think it's also like a much smarter play too. As much as we want to see her return to the States and be home again and be safe again, it's everything that's going down, she still is wanted for what she did. She actively went against the government, and the government isn't willing to let that go. But she is it's a smarter play on her end too. She already has so little, so losing this in exchange, in exchange for actually going back to the States and playing that kind of risky game, it's just really not worth it. So she knows that and she understands that. But she knows that and she understands that, but she's still willing to actually work with Sam and actually help them do what they need to do. And Sam is gonna try his hardest to actually clear her name too. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that kind of friendship and that kind of loyalty, and his understanding how important she is and how important it is that she's safe too. So that was a very, very cool kind of deal to see and a very cool piece of story to see between them. So I look forward to seeing exactly how far they get with clearing her name and getting her help with the Flag Smashers. So it should be fun. And we see that John and Lamar and their kind of own they were running with the GRC police. There's GRC police in Germany, they were in Munich, I believe, hunting down Carly, and they caught wind that Carly's last known location was in that base, which it pretty much was. I think it was even in the last episode. It was actually in Germany somewhere that they actually ran through and actually got their supplies and then flew out on a plane and everything. So they were there hunting her down, and the German guy, he did not respect Cap. He did not respect this new Cap, which we can't really blame him. Let's be honest. to the point where he actively spits in his face and everything and disrespects him like that. So I think John. I think he's definitely kind of feeling that it's not just Sam and Bucky that don't accept him as a new Cap. This whole world kind of feels mixed. I think except for the people who embrace this new guy as their Cap, it's pretty much people who just don't really believe in this new Cap or the Avengers overall. So he's got that added tension to deal with. But him and Lamar are just kind of generally hunting down Carly and the Flag Smashers and trying to actually enforce the new GRC rules and actually enforce the way the GRC works and all that kind of stuff. And we've seen how Carly actually treats them too. Like Carly at the end, she actually set a bomb on her car and actually blew up the GRC and killed all the people inside. And actually even found out that the resources they had for 6 months and were only giving them to very specific people. So I think she even pointed out that in the last episode that the GRC cares explicitly more about the people who came back than the people who were there to begin with. And then when the people came back, Carly and her people were actually put back out on the streets and lost what they came to. So there's a lot of kind of that kind of division going on between the survivors and the kind of returned, pretty much. And then John and Lamar found out that Zemo had actually escaped from prison, and that Bucky and Sam were there on the same day visiting him, so they kind of put two and two together. But they also know that they can't really wait for any explicit orders from the government to go after them. They know, I think John, they both kind of strongly believe and know that Sam and Bucky definitely could have had something to do. I mean, John at least he knows that Sam and Bucky would have had something to do with his escape and actually using him to do their own missions and everything. So and I think it would also definitely line up with them believing that they have more flexibility as free agents and free kind of workers and everything. So he knows that they would have had something to do with this, and now because of that, he also wants to go off the books. He wants to go off the books and use more unconventional methods to find them and to capture them and everything, which kind of just shows how far he's willing to go to. That he may be a guy who works with the government and for the government, but by no means does that mean that he's exclusively kind of like a government man. He believes he can bend the rules to his own will too, and he can bend those kinds of guidelines for his own purposes and actually work off the books if he needs to actually get the job done more efficiently. So he's different. He's very, very different. So yeah, we actually run into more deeper MCU style history and story too with Dr. Wilfred Nagel. He was the guy. He was the guy that Hydra originally recruited to actually produce more stuff from the super soldier serum, and then after Shield fell and after Hydra then subsequently somewhat fell, he was then taken in by the CIA, and he was the one. He worked with the samples that the CIA and Hydra stole from Isaiah Bradley. He even mentioned like they had other samples from like another secret subject that he found like semi-stable elements of the super soldier serum, and that was Isaiah. Isaiah explicitly told them that Hydra and the Americans actually took blood samples from over and over again while he was in prison. So that was like those were samples he worked with, and not only that, but Nagel's kind of work was so good that he was the closest that the world had come to Erskine's work since Erskine had died. Erskine dying kind of left people believing that the serum was gone forever, and the Cat and Steve was it, but like any hope of actually replicating was locked in Steve's genetic code. So I think they did take samples from Steve. Like I think they took like one or two or like a few vials from him, but I think given how they would have treated Isaiah back during that time too, then they took unarguably more from him. So he worked with those samples, and then he was blipped, and then he came back, and his entire life's work was gone. But then the Power Broker found out about him being back, and then by his work, the Power Broker then brought him back into the fold too. So then he actually managed to recreate his own work and actually created 20 vials, all 20 of which were stolen by Carly. So Carly did steal the vials of super soldier, and that's what she stole, and that's what she stole, and that's what the death threats were about. So the death threats did definitely come from the Power Broker, because I think Nagel did even say, "Oh, I can only imagine what kind of punishment the Power Broker has in store for Carly." So yeah, so interesting, very, very interesting connections and tie-ins right there. So and now Nagel is dead. I think as soon as I saw Zemo checking under the gun, I figured he was actually checking some kind of secret weapon that Nagel would have hidden around, and then it's like knowing what Nagel had done, knowing that Nagel had actually helped create more super soldiers, something that Zemo specifically hates. I think it makes sense that he would definitely go move to actually kill Nagel and end that line of work just there. So now Erskine and Nagel are the only ones, and now they're both dead, and now potentially no one else can actually help recreate the serum and stuff. So there's that. There's definitely that. And he also mentioned Donya Madani. And then in a later scene, Carly called Donya Mama Donya. So that was the woman that was the woman on life support that she had to say goodbye to. And that woman also had that same necklace. The same it was upside down, but it was still kind of somewhat easy to actually make it. It was a hand with a globe inside it. So this entire operation, this entire group, this entire ideology that Carly is fighting for was inspired by Mama Donya. I like to think that the ideology she had was somewhat more peaceful too, like not actually fighting against people, but still kind of fighting for one world united under one hand, taking the world and uniting it under one banner. So the Flag Smashers logo is inspired by that necklace, so that was a really cool nod. So Donya Madani. I think the name Madani too, that rang a bell for me instantly, like Dinah Madani from the Daredevil and Punisher series. I've only seen the first season of Punisher. Have I seen the first season of Punisher? I think so. I don't know if I've watched it in its entirety. I think I've watched the kind of half of the Punisher. I believe it was. I think she was in Punisher. I think she was definitely in Punisher. I'm trying to think if she was in Daredevil too. I don't know if she was in Daredevil. Maybe season 3. I think she could have been in season 3, maybe. You know what I mean? I think she was more or less in Daredevil. She was in Punisher. She was introduced in Punisher, definitely. She was definitely in Punisher. She was actually that kind of character associated with Frank Castle. So she was definitely in that. So I think Agent Dina Madani, she was in that. So like the name Madani rang a bell from that. So I don't know if Donya had any kind of connection or relation to Dina Madani, or she was like any kind of connection there. But either way, she was actually a very close and personal connection with Carly, and she was known as Mama Donya. So I feel like she would have been that kind of character, like that kind of person where she took in other kids who were lost and other kids who had lost their homes, and she took in and offered refuge to people who had lost their own homes and had lost their own kind of original kind of paths in life. She took Carly definitely would have been one of those people, and maybe she was just kind of like universally known as Mama Donya, like known to be that kind of person. But then she was on life support and she died, and Carly had to say goodbye to her. So I think deep down she is still kind of keeping Donya in her memory and keeping her in her mind when she's doing all this stuff with the Flag Smashers, and actually keeping the Flag Smashers and their legacy and their name in mind in Donya's honor. So fighting for one world under one banner, or rather no banner, just like one world, one people, fighting for that ideology and fighting for that kind of meaning in Donya's name. So yes, I think Nagel mentioned having been referenced, having been told that name, Donya Madani. So I think she must have stolen the serum first. I think she must have seen the serum as like some kind of cure or some kind of like serum that could actually help Donya kind of heal from whatever illnesses that she was suffering from. So that's at least part of the reason she stole the serum, even if not just for herself and her team. So, but then I think I don't know if they didn't use it or it still didn't work. But either way, she still has the serums, and Donya's now gone, so she has to keep fighting even in the wake of her death. And now she knows that the Power Broker is going to be after her because Nagel is now dead, so no one is left to actually make any more serums. So what Carly and her team have is what's left of it. So now the Power Broker is going to come at them even harder and be even more desperate in Carly's eyes. So that is going to be a very interesting fight to see. And at the very end, so then the Wakandan beads definitely caught me off guard. The Wakandan beads, I think that was what Bucky meant when he said he had to go on a walk. He actually detected the beads nearby and thought, okay, this is going to happen. I think it definitely ties back into Sam's original complaints at the beginning of the episode, being like, have you forgotten what Zemo did? Like he killed, like not only did he frame Bucky, but he killed King T'Chaka. He was directly responsible for the murder of King T'Chaka, and he, committed a crime against pretty much all of Wakanda because of that. And instead of taking him back to Wakanda and keeping him in prison there, T'Challa actually caught Zemo and actually handed him back to the CIA and let them do their own rules of imprisonment. But the Wakandans were equally pissed about what Zemo did to them by killing King T'Chaka. So Sam even bringing that back in, Sam even bringing that kind of history back in, oh, do you think the Wakandans have forgotten what Zemo took from them and what Zemo did to them? So seeing that kind of come to fruition at the end of the episode was great. And I love it so much. Ayo's back, the whole move or you will be moved, that line from her. To this day I have not forgotten that. To this day I have not forgotten that kind of dominant Street Fighter assault on that, move or you will be moved, like that. Just Ayo's amazing. And we got a bit more from her in Black Panther as well. So I can't wait to see. I love that they're incorporating Wakanda into this too, because Wakanda is where Bucky's kind of rehabilitation came from mostly before the blip, and he still has the armor. He knows. He's aware enough of Wakanda technology, like those little beats or whatever. I think knowing that Bucky was there, Bucky was the one who actually spent time in Wakanda, so I knew to actually contact him and to leave him that kind of trail of Wakandan beads, and knew that he would actually catch on. So then, and he knew that she was coming to. He knew that she was actually coming, and I think deep down he knew the entire time, being with Zemo, not only will word of Zemo's escape actually reach the news, but it could also reach Wakanda in a more kind of secretive way too. And as soon as they know that Zemo's out of prison, they're going to send one of their own to try and catch him too. So I think, and it being Ayo, I think I would have flipped if it was Okoye. If it was Okoye, I would have flipped. But Ayo is still definitely just as much of a surprise kind of twist and a surprise character reveal. So I'm curious because I think she also was. I think she's definitely meant to be more of a surprise character reveal too. So I think she was never someone who was actually actively promoted or teased to be in this. And I think Anthony Mackie himself said that there would be some surprise faces in the show, so it kind of like left me feeling very, very eager to see who's going to show up and who's going to do what. So Io being in this is definitely like a big and very, very kind of exciting kind of surprise. So I'm curious as to how long they're going to have her in this and how much of her they're going to have in this and how she's going to be. So that would be fun to see. But she wants Zemo. She even said, I'm here for Zemo. She said, I think in her own kind of Wakandan language, she said, I'm here for Zemo. So she knows he's there. She knows he's free, but she does not want him to be free. She wants him to face Wakandan justice more than anything else. So she's there for Zemo. So that ending on that note too is very, very is very clever. Like definitely, Marvel knows how to leave us wanting more. They know how to leave us wanting more. So yeah, so Io is there. So that leaves me all the more curious as to how Sam and Zemo are gonna react to that kind of news that Io is there on behalf of Wakanda and she's there to actually take Zemo for herself. And I think it kind of leaves me curious as to whether or not she's actually gonna let them do what they need to do with him first, and then because again with Zemo, I think once Zemo finds out that Wakanda is actually fast on his tail and that that Io is actually after him too. I think he's going to be even more skeptical about actually sticking around after doing what he needs to do. He's going to work even harder to make sure that he has a surefire escape plan ready for once he takes out Carney and the Flag Smashers and everything. So it's going to make the ending even more, I feel like, action-packed and hard-hitting and heavy and everything. So it'll be cool to see exactly how that kind of stuff goes down. But Io is here. So I think it's cool. I think this is also like after Endgame, after that whole saga has finished off. This is also our first kind of Wakandan return. Like before Black Panther 2 comes out, like this is our first official kind of reprisal of a face from Wakanda and something from Wakanda too. So yeah, that was awesome. And the Power Broker seems like an interesting character too. Definitely, I think one thing this show is showing us, I think this show is definitely dedicated to actually showing us what the world is like after the blip, like who's in power, who's back in power, and it definitely feels like the Power Broker, like the Flag Smashers, would have been someone who actually rose to power during the blip. Like there's a lot of power to be had, there's a lot of roles left unfilled, there's a lot of people needing help, and the Power Broker definitely feels like an underworld criminal with a lot of connections and a lot of kind of resources and riches and stuff like that. He also kind of like feel like we haven't even met him. Yeah, we don't even know who the Power Broker is, but he definitely feels like someone who feels like some kind of underground mob boss that kind of rose to power during the blip, used the blip's chaos and its kind of messiness and stuff like that, and kind of took advantage of it and gave people what they want, but also made people pay the price for it. So he employed Nagel too. He employed Nagel and actually made him recreate the super soldier serum, so he knows the importance of various assets and stuff. So he definitely feels like a character worth waiting for, like a character worth meeting whenever that does happen. So it seems very cool in that sense. And the Power Broker, I think there was also like a sign in Madripoor, like a graffiti painting, being like the Power Broker is always watching, so he has eyes everywhere, he has ears everywhere else, and definitely feels like that kind of character. So like feels like once we come up against him and once we actually meet him, it's going to be like a definite kind of sticky situation for Sam and Bucky and potentially even Zemo. And Zemo even knows him, but he said he knows him by reputation. So I think like that kind of line alone shows that, again, the Power Broker is someone with a lot of connections, with a lot of history to him. Even in this short time span of 5 years, like he definitely kind of knows what's going on, and he's kind of the reason that half the people in the world have what they have now. So it feels like it's definitely, and I think the episode is even called Power Broker. It's even called Power Broker, so it's like it's kind of like showing us what he's got, like what he's worth and who he is, without even actually giving him to us just yet. So it's actually showing us like Sam and Bucky and Sharon and Zemo actually going through his people before they actually get to meet him and actually maybe even fight him if they need to. If he's that kind of person, like. We don't know yet if he's actually like an antagonist or if he's actually just someone who's gonna. I mean, I think he was the one who put the bounty on the heads. I believe he was the one who put the bounty on the heads, and he was connected to Selby too. So someone, like whoever it was, someone killed Selby, and then the Power Broker lost that resource, lost that kind of asset, and then lost that connection. So he put like a 1K bounty on all their heads and everything. So he's definitely not someone to be trifled with in any sense of the word. So yeah, and yeah, I loved it. I I love this episode overall. Again, I'm gonna go back to the whole team dynamic thing. I love that. I love that Zemo is actually, I think, again, like Zemo's using them as a means to an end, but he's still kind of willing to share what he has with Bucky and Sam, knowing that for now at least they're on the same mission. Like their shared mission, their shared agenda is actually finding Carly and stopping the Flag Smashers, but their methods of doing so once they actually reach Carly will be different. You know, like Sam and Bucky will fight her if they have to, but in the end they'll actually want to take them in. But Zemo sharing his own kind of vendettas and his own kind of ideas as to whether or not superheroes in general should be allowed to exist. You know, his methods of doing so will be vastly different from, you know, Sam and Bucky. So I think knowing that tension and that kind of divergence is on the horizon, I feel like makes the journey that much more enjoyable. Like knowing that, you know, things will be different, but for now they can at least share the same plane ride and share the same resources, and he can get them into places that they wouldn't be able to get into themselves. And seeing that kind of cooperation too, like you wouldn't think this would happen after Civil War. Like watching Civil War, after watching Civil War, you wouldn't think that this would happen. But I think it's the beauty of that kind of time frame writing and that kind of dialogue between them and the way things are and everything. So they're like willing to cooperate. So like for as long as it takes for them to actually get to their final destination. So seeing that kind of team dynamic is really cool. So I think it's seeing Zemo actually working with them, seeing Zemo somewhat being like a cooperative guy, like not necessarily a good guy, but seeing him being cooperative with them and actually not even giving any hints, or like he's not even giving any hints away that he's going to double cross him. I think that's the beauty of the double crossing that will eventually come. That right now he is actually willing to treat them as, you know, cooperators in his own mission, but at the same time it's like, you know, sooner or later he will, you know, defy them and he will still deflect and everything. So right now it kind of makes it somewhat easier to actually kind of enjoy the ride as it goes along and actually enjoy what they're giving us now and stuff. So seeing that kind of chemistry between them is just so great. Again, Daniel Brawl, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, they're all great, and you know, Emily Van Camp too. Sharon, you know, like Sharon joining in. So Sharon was all completed. So Sharon helped complete this quartet as we needed it to be. And even her being somewhat kind of skeptical of Zemo's kind of presence and his cooperation there too, because his presence on this kind of makeshift team was interesting to see too, so that was fun. But they each make it their own. They each make it their own. Like they each have something of their own to offer, be it personality and or kind of actual physical characteristics too. So you know, like they're all there to fight. They're all there to fight, and they're all there to complete the mission. So it's kind of that much more enjoyable to watch them be some sense of a makeshift team. So it's fun. It's definitely fun. But yeah, now going forward, I think we're gonna have to see exactly how Sam and Bucky react to the news of Io being there and seeing exactly how much further they can get with Io on their trail. I think to see if Io can even understand what they're doing and why they're doing it as well, and actually kind of maybe wait, or maybe she can help them. Sharon and Io, oh my god, Sharon and Io fighting together. That would be a team thing. That would be a duo for the ages. We have Sam and Bucky doing their own thing, Sharon and Io doing their own thing, and Zemo just kind of watching from the back and maybe helping out where he can, but Zemo being his own kind of rich baron dude that, you know, that does what he does. But Sharon and Io, I need to see that. Sam and Bucky, we're getting plenty of them anyway. They're the titular characters, but Sharon and Io, please give me this Marvel. Please give me Sharon and Io. That would be a team up for the ages. But hopefully in time we get all the necessary content we need from this show. But so far they're doing a great job. So far I'm loving the direction they're going with this, in the direction they're taking the characters in, and or exactly what kind of content they're giving us in that sense. So I can't wait to see where we go from here. So we also will have Io potentially kind of being with the team now here too, and then we'll have Carly and the Flag Smashers doing their thing, and John and his team doing their thing. So it's going great. So I can't wait to see where they go from here. But that is pretty much all I have from this one. So that was a fun episode, super fun episode as always, and I can't wait for the next one. So let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what your thoughts are on the episode in the comments below. So yeah, that is it. That is pretty much all I have. So that was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Season 1, Episode 3. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and anything you're looking forward to in the rest of the series. Once again, the full-length reaction will be available on Patreon, so you know that right there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.